Welcome to Unscripted with Akarsh Khurana. Nipun Dharmadhikari is an award-winning filmmaker, including the National Award, and is something of a legend on the Pune theatre scene and has been for the last 15 years. It is an absolute privilege to have him with us today. Welcome to the show, Nipun.
Thank you for having me
for
here.
coming to Unscripted with Akarsh Khurana. It's a big, rare privilege to have someone of your caliber on this show with your body of work. of work.
Achha, I was till you said body, I was
Of
like,
work, of
not
work.
sure whether this was a parody. Now I
So,
am sure.
no, and my first question is to you. Who are you? In the sense that I would like what would your ideal intro for yourself be? Because you do so much, and you wear so many hats despite this hairstyle. But you
Because of this
yeah. So, who are you? How would you define yourself, or what would be the intro that you would give? Because you're an overachiever for a young and fairly small guy. But so why don't you tell us who you are?
I think director, theatre and film director, storyteller. I mean, it's cliche, I know, but
But
still.
you're an actor, you're a writer, you're a producer, you're a director, you've done theater, series, film, all of that, and actively doing it. As in, you are. I mean, you've done a Marathi film that is coming out, and you've acted before. You have a series. You're a romantic hero in Marathi pop
That
culture.
was one film that
So,
I did.
and,
No,
yeah,
it is-
and a very celebrated director, national award-winning director, and very successful Marathi director. Also having directed in other languages. So yeah, what is the one you lean most towards?
director. I think I can. There are limitations. I mean, I'm not saying that there are no limitations to how I direct, but I think I know my limitations when it comes to acting or being typecast. I know that I'm not that great with dialogue. I can craft maybe a film fairly okay. Maybe play with the screenplay a bit, but again, there are limitations to that
In terms of writing,
terms of writing and acting. But I think direction is something that I actually enjoy doing it quite a lot.
you don't enjoy acting,
Well, it depends, only if it's the lead role. So,
right? Of course. No, that I'm aware of that. I've had the good fortune of casting.
Yeah.
But okay, let's focus on the fact that you prefer being a director. Right now, of course, you have now I think 3 feature films you have already directed, and your fourth actually is also ready.
Yes.
But there is a significant amount of theatre work that you have directed. In fact, you're a bit of a legend in Pune because of your theatre work, and not only Pune. I mean, I discovered you through your theatre work, which I thought was fantastic. Is there a preference you have in terms of directing for stage or screen? Is there?
So I know that I'm a very greedy person, so I would like to do both, and
Right.
I have been doing both. I make it a point that I direct one play at least every year, and so far, I mean, barring the pandemic years, I think I've been fairly successful in terms of putting up a play. And I would like to continue that because, in a way, I feel in general, theatre or the small scale theatre, the experimental theatre, for example, in Pune, I feel is like the R&D department, which you need to invest your time in, and you can really hone your skills over there. And I really believe that, and that is something that I really look forward to every year.
But you've done experimental theatre. You've done, I believe, commercial
Yeah.
theatre
Yeah.
as well. So that's something that I was talking about, in another episode also to someone who does Gujarati theatre. And the thing is that so my theatre that I have done, for example, has been predominantly English or Hindi, and in that, I don't know if the distinction exists so much between, say, a commercial theatre and experimental theatre in
Right.
that sense.
Right.
But say in a Marathi and a Gujarati,
Yeah.
there is a clear distinction. What is that distinction?
And there will be people who will disagree with me when
Yeah,
I say
because
this,
I
but
mean,
still,
I like some of the stuff that you would refer to as your experimental work
yeah.
has been extremely commercial.
Yeah,
So how does
I
that?
think it's just about the scale
Right.
and the venues at which you perform.
Okay.
So if you're performing in a venue, say like a Prithvi, now Pune has those venues like the Box, and before that there was Sudarshan or Jyotsna Bhore Sabhagruh or many other venues. So there, whatever plays used to be performed over there were termed as experimental. So I don't think that this general distinction should be made. And whatever plays were performed at the proscenium were called as commercial theatre.
Right.
But I believe that it is the intent more than the scale. So if you are the intent is to make money, to make profit, so that everybody over there gets paid, then I guess that becomes commercial theatre. And if your intent is only to put up a performance and not worry about how much money you're making, then I believe that is
But tell me
not
something.
commercial.
So like even in terms of the way that they are, so say like in a Gujarati commercial theatre scene, it's a play that happens every day.
Yeah,
Like it's happening 30 times a month,
correct.
right? And is that similar with like a Marathi
Yeah,
commercial theatre?
yeah.
But for example, like say you've directed a play called Amar Photo
Yeah.
Studio, which is a commercial play, as I
It
would
is.
be,
It is.
but it was not performing as regularly.
It
Like
was.
was
It was I mean, when we started performing it, we were like there were like a good 15, 20 shows a year, a month.
oh, okay,
So it was. I mean, we were performing it that regularly.
right,
There were other plays also that I directed called Once More with a
Okay.
celebrated Marathi actor Bharat Jadhav.
okay,
Or I did a play with a theatre legend called Prashant Damle.
right,
So I did a musical with him.
right.
And even that was like in a year we performed nearly 100 shows. So, but at the same time, his other 2 or 3 plays were also. So he was doing 30 shows a month. And out of those, 10 shows a month were of our play.
Right.
So,
But you tell me now, so for example, recently I saw a play of yours at Shivaji Mandir.
Yeah.
And I believe that,
Adlekar.
and Shivaji Mandir, I believe, is a
Yeah.
commercial
Correct,
venue.
correct.
But is that play a commercial
so
play?
there is something called as semi-commercial plays as well.
This is new.
I mean, yeah, or there are fewer people who do that.
Right.
And I think that Adleka, I mean, we have tried to make Adleka like that. We know
But in
that,
terms of the content that I saw, it was
Yes.
more experimental.
Yes, it
in
was.
that sense.
It was.
And a play of yours like say Dadan seems a lot more commercial.
yes,
So that distinction is something you don't necessarily believe in.
no, I don't.
Okay.
So I would like Adleka to have full houses in a place like Shivaji Mandir, and I would like it to make a lot of profit. And at the same time, I would not like to change the way it is presented so that it is spoon fed to everyone.
Right.
So that's why I think it is called as semi-commercial. That we know we are taking a risk.
Right.
We know this is not necessarily the content that people are looking for in a commercial play, but we still try and put our best foot forward in a space like a proscenium theatre. And
So you are taking a risk there. You are
Yes.
pushing the envelope
Yes,
a little
yes,
bit.
yes.
But has it ever happened in your experience with one of your plays or any other plays that say an experimental play
Yeah.
made the journey to a commercial stage?
Yes, yes. You know, that used to happen quite a lot in the early 2000s,
Right.
where, say, plays by a group in Pune called Maharashtra Cultural Center. They had
Right.
their own venue, Sudarshan.
Yes.
And they used to perform plays over there. They used to open it over there. And they were immediately picked up by the so-called commercial producers.
Right.
And with or without cast changes, they used to now start performing at bigger venues, and people would start getting paid. Everybody involved in
So
that.
it started off as a small play, and then
Yes.
somebody picked it up because of the potential
Correct,
it had.
correct.
And
And that happened with one of our plays as well, called Lose Control.
right,
And
which
that
is one
was
of your early plays.
very early, second play that I did, and I
Right.
was 18 years old at that
right.
time.
And you did this for
No, I did it for a experimental theatre group called
Okay.
Samanvay.
okay.
So we performed that. It did very well over there. And then we started performing at larger venues. It was a 70-minute play, I think. Started performing at larger venues, and the shows used to be houseful. And then we had these commercial producers knocking on the door. Now there is a set format over there, wherein it should be a 2-act play. There should be an interval, etc., etc.
Yeah, no, and I suppose these are learnings when you're kind of dealing with this
Yeah.
multiple kind of formats. I think one thing that I kind of try and do, and one of the reasons that I also agreed to do this podcast, I mean, of course, I felt that there wasn't really a theatre-related podcast. I mean, not that we're always talking about theatre, we're also talking about other work because,
Right.
I mean, a lot of theatre people are achieving beyond the theatre, and which is great. But one of the thing was that I wanted to kind of, particularly because in the pandemic, everyone went onto Instagram and did these
Yeah.
lives and spoke
Yeah.
about stuff and did interviews.
Correct.
I wanted to kind of like have conversations that we don't find on the internet.
Yeah.
So that we're talking about other stuff and maybe
Correct.
a little bit of a deeper dive. But for some starting points, there are things that I find on the internet, and then so Forbes called you a theatre revivalist.
I was wondering where you're getting at.
The Forbes magazine called you a theatre revivalist. So, what are your thoughts on that? What was that about? I believe that there is a traditional form of
Yes.
theater
Yeah.
that you brought back.
So, Marathi theatre essentially started with Sangeet Natak
Right.
in the 19th century. Sangeet Swayamvar, then Sharda, and then superstars were Bal Gandharva, Dinanath Mangeshkar, Keshavrao Bhosle, and the likes.
And just for people who might not know, Sangeet Natak is basically a musical play.
Yeah, yeah, musical play, 5 act play,
No, 5 act.
5 acts.
Okay.
And I mean, traditionally they used to start at sunset and go on till sunrise.
All
So,
night.
all night.
Wow.
And it was crazy. I mean, if you read the original scripts, there used to be 90 songs and 5 acts. And people used to, there were like for Bal Gandharva or Dinanath Mangeshkar, there used to be once more like when I think this is about Bal Gandharva or Dinanath Mangeshkar, I'm forgetting, but they were very young when they started, and they got literally 14 or 15 once more for a song, and the director or the producer of the play had to come out and request the audience that he's so young, don't make him sing so much for just one song, he'll faint. So please let's continue with the play.
Wow.
It was a massive craze, and they used to earn a lot of money. There are many stories about
And there are
that.
people who would show up to watch something all night.
Yeah, thousands.
And have did you, while growing up, ever watch any
So
of this?
that started waning. This form of theatre started waning towards the 50s, 60s.
Okay.
And prose, I mean, it took a backseat and prose started.
Sure.
3 act plays
Sure.
started taking place because of maybe radio as well. And, and people used to come and come to hear them sing more than the play. Once that started happening, then suddenly this form of art started waning. And also, one of the reasons why that also happened was whatever Sangeet Natak then started, it was branded as boring theatre, because the people who used to perform it weren't of that age. So, a 60-year-old man would be playing the role of a 25-year-old, and it didn't necessarily look correct. And people started giving more importance to the singing than the theatre part of it, the prose part of it. So the plays started getting boring, and they were not well managed as well. And what happened was in the 60s, there was a play called Katyar Karzat Ghusli,
Right.
which was one of the newer Sangeet Nataks. That did phenomenally well, and that introduced Pandit Vasantrao Deshpande to the world. And his grandson, Rahul Deshpande, who himself is a Hindustani classical singer, he started reviving he revived Katyar Karzat Ghusli around a decade back,
Okay.
2011.
But this was now a 3 act play, not an all-nighter.
No,
So, right.
3 act play. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that the economics have changed completely.
Right.
And so that started, and with that was received very well. It had a great nostalgic value, and I had not directed that play, but Amay Wagh had acted in it, and he used to tell me about how they all were disciplined, and they are like really even though they are classical singers, they are really putting all this effort into acting, and they are actually kind of changing things. And as luck would have it, I was just about to leave my chartered accountancy, and I got a call from Rahul Dada, and he asked if I would like to direct his next play that he was producing. The best part about that was Rahul was taking the risk also. He was also producing it.
Okay.
And I read the script. It was a 5 act script. I told him, of course, we can't do 5 acts. Let me edit it. And I brought it down to 2 acts. There were some 50 odd songs.
What play was this?
Samshay Kallod.
Okay.
So it's based on a French play, actually. It's an official adaptation of a French play. And it was written in 1912 or 1910.
And it had been done earlier.
Yeah,
An
yeah.
adaptation of a French play had been
Yeah,
done
yeah,
earlier
yeah.
in this format.
In this format,
Right.
in the early 20th century. Bal Gandharva had acted in it. And then I edited that play to a 2 act structure, got down the number of songs. Then we tried to experiment with other. I mean, there used to be, since we have a touring theatre, the set would be curtains behind, and there wouldn't be like proper sets. So we constructed a set for that play. We started using those mics, headphone mics. And for the first time, apart from the, I mean, usually when you're touring with a play, you can't have a full orchestra because of economic reasons. So you usually have the organ and a tabla. But we wanted something more, like more orchestration. So we started with open-ended tracks. So they would sing live, and
Like
we used
minus ones.
minus ones.
Right.
But we didn't do it for every just one or two. We experimented with only one or two songs. And that was received well. So that was a new form of presenting these plays.
Traditional plays, right.
And I think that caught the attention of the good people
But
at
what was
Forbes.
your exposure to these? You had not watched these ever,
No.
but you were aware that they happened
Yeah.
in a.
Yeah.
But did you have to kind of, do any kind of research or any kind
So,
of, was there documentation? Was there?
There was a group, there still is a group in Pune that performs these, but I decided not to go and watch it so that I don't get influenced.
Right.
So I treated them as any other play that I would do for Natak company, like maybe an experimental play. So how would I treat those plays? And there is an eminent writer in Pune called Makaran Sathe, and he was doing his. He was writing 3 volumes on the history of Marathi theatre, and he was at the manuscript stage at that time. So I requested whether I could read about that era
That he had written.
that he had written on, and
Right.
understand the socio-political scenarios in 1910 or a bit around that, to understand why this play was written, or was there a necessity of this play to be performed at that time, because apart from just entertainment, plays were also a source of samaj prabodhan, what do you say, for educating the masses.
Right. And another thing I picked up of the internet, because I
Why
was,
are you know me so well,
I
Akarsh?
was,
What internet
I was kind of stalking you. And nothing I picked up was that somewhere you said that you were forced into directing your first play.
Yes.
What's the story there? Because the story you didn't tell. You only said this because you're like a sensationalist kind of guy. You say stuff like this, theater revivalist, forced into theater.
I
So
never
you
said
become this
theatre revivalist.
international man of mystery. You become like, there's this
Yeah,
whole.
like Mike Myers.
so-
Anyway,
So yeah, so what is that about? Like, because so I'm thinking back to perhaps the time that I got to know you, by which time you were already quite an established,
No,
like
I
in the college theater circuit.
college theatre.
You were quite like a dada. So yeah,
People
you were,
knew me.
yeah, people, yeah. I mean, like there
That's
was
about it. I was not a dada.
so
or anything.
yeah. I think I came for a Thespo screening panel at some point of time,
Yeah.
and because it was your play, I felt I was being judged instead of the other way around. So yeah. So what's this about? How this first play? And I think it was a play called Cycle,
Yes.
which also did very well.
Yeah. So it was for an intercollegiate theatre competition. Pune has this amazing.
Yeah, I wanted to
tradition.
talk about. You can also bring it up in this, that there is a very unique culture of this Purushottam
Yes.
Karandak.
Yes.
Which is quite
Cup.
unique to Pune.
Yes.
As a
Actually, it happens in Mumbai as well. Mumbai has INT.
quite
or
unique to
Mughal.
maybe Marathi theatre then.
Yeah, I think so.
So
I
so
think
what is that? And
So it is called Ekankika Spardha. So one act play competitions.
Right.
And
One act plays,
One
huh?
act plays.
Okay.
And Pune has this long and nice tradition of theatre. It is home to many amazing artists. Theatre Academy was born in Pune. In the 60s, I think, Purushottam Karandak was started. And they have this, they're very, very strict. So you have to complete your play in 1 hour. And I mean, you have to set it up, you have to do the lighting,
Including your setup and all.
including your setup, and you have to actually remove the set also.
Okay.
So in 1 hour,
So whatever, 45-minute play. that you
yeah,
have.
I
So-
mean, yeah, you can determine that according to everything else, and then and you can only have a maximum of 16 people in the team, etc., etc. So they're well known for their discipline as well. That has been an important part of theatre in Pune. I think it has given many actors and directors through the years, including say Jabbar Patel or Mohan Agashe, and that tradition continues even now. So we were supposed to perform our play for college,
Right.
and all our seniors like Sarang Sathe had passed out, who was our first director, and Amay and I were coincidentally the seniors, even though we were just in the first year
Right.
of senior college. And Amay was like really focused, and he knew he wanted to act, so he told me to direct. So essentially, I was told to direct, and I took it up
So you're not forced to, you were just asked to.
or
So,
demanded maybe. I
from a
was,
friend.
so, but no, I mean, in a way, it was forcing. Like, there are two people, and one of them says that I don't want to do this. So, by default, I became the director.
I mean, I think you were just like catering to the tabloids a little bit over there. But and Cycle is a play you wrote.
So, it's based on a story by a celebrated Marathi writer called Vyankatesh Madgulkar. And I adapted that story. And people
And
don't
this
understand.
did well for you in that
Yeah,
competition.
yeah, very well. So we won, our college won after like a lot, like 21, 22 years. And Amey was, of course, the lead actor in that. And I directed it. So it was very well received at that time.
And did that then give you did that give you some sense of direction that you wanted to get into direction? So
Yeah, kind of. And also, I think the best compliment that I received for that play was that there was a rumor that I had not directed it, and somebody, our seniors had come and directed it.
and when was Natak Company born?
2009.
So how did that come about?
So we passed out from college, Amey and I, in
And when were your Sangeet Nataks?
2011.
So after you opened Natak Company,
Yeah.
you were still kind of studying to be a CA.
Yes.
And Rahul Deshpande called you
Yes.
to kind of direct a.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we passed out from college, and suddenly Amey and I realized that a banner that we had of our college is not there anymore. We couldn't perform from college.
Yes.
And of course, there was this option to go back to college and direct over
Direct
there.
stuff. Yeah.
But we didn't want to get stuck in that, so we started with Natak Company.
And so Natak Company is you and Amey.
Amey, me, Alok Rajwade, Abhay Mahajan, Siddharth Menon, Gandhar Sangoram, Parna Pethe, Dharmakirti Sumant.
All these people came together and what is the first play you all did?
First play actually would be Geli 21 Varsha.
Oh yes, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we followed it up with a children play for summertime at Prithvi called Sutti Butti.
Which I had heard of, but I don't know if I,
I don't think
saw
you
it.
watched
I don't
it,
think
no.
I saw it. But I did see Gaily Equus. It was in Thespo.
It was in Thespo as well.
Yes, and did very well in
Yeah, yeah.
Thespo as well. So, just as a producer to producer,
I'm not a producer.
I mean,
Like,
not a company, you're a producer.
No,
So,
I'm not.
What does that mean?
I think um, it takes a lot to be. I see what you do, with AK Various. And I don't think I even do 1% of what you do. And I'm being very honest.
You've
here.
done a lot of work with Natak Company.
I have, but I think the only thing I've done with Nata Company is encourage people to do plays and try and find funding. But when it comes to day-to-day admin or running the company per se, I don't think I'm good at that at all.
But you also kind of encouraged a lot of other people to direct. It wasn't just like you guys. And there are also other plays that actually. Are you involved with every play that happens with Natak Company?
I try to be.
As in you're called in to kind of watch and comment. And
Yeah, so I try to stay away from the processes because I don't know where it can feel like an interference. So
what about selection?
yes, selection. I am a part of it.
So you're part of deciding that this play
Yes.
will happen.
Yes,
So,
yes.
but there is an approach where people can come to you and present a play to kind of.
Absolutely.
Okay, so sorry, you were saying right now.
So right now we
needs a
have
good manager.
we have two plays that are running.
Right.
It was a different picture like 3-4 years back. And right now I think my main focus is to do at least one play from Natak Company every year, because if anybody else wants to come and direct, then of course the doors are open.
A little bit about before I get into your film
Uncomfortable
work
questions, that's
and your camera work. I'm still kind of talking a little bit about the theater situation in Pune, and from the time that say you were doing theater in college, or the theater that you were maybe watching were you watching theater while you were growing up?
Yeah.
And what kind of theater would you lean towards?
Or whatever happened in Pune, actually.
Everything.
And everything that happened there.
So,
But still mostly theatre, the small theatre.
and so from that time when you were watching and were forced to direct by your friend to now where Nata Company has achieved as much as has, and you have achieved as much as you have, what changes have you seen in the Pune theatre culture? I'm assuming this is a period of about 15 years.
Yeah.
So
So number of people doing theatre is definitely less.
It's reduced.
Yeah, it has reduced.
Which is quite the opposite in Bombay, strangely. I want to have a big discussion with you, which is a Pune Bombay discussion, but I'll bring the film work into that as well.
Okay.
So we'll have a larger discussion about that. You've spoken enough, perhaps, about the kind of work that you have done in terms of the films. I'm sure every film interviewed you, and I'm sure when I Google it, I'll find how you got that film and, winning a national award for a film and all those things. So what I want to actually do is, instead of getting into the details of each one of those projects, because you've done so many, I want to turn it on its head a little bit. And I'm going to take the name of a project that you have done, a film that you've done.
Okay.
And what I want you to tell me is your learning from it.
Okay.
What is the one learning, the one salient, one most important learning from that? And it could be a very different phase in your life. But what were your learnings and take homes from these projects? So that's what I want to see. I told you I'm going to.
Is this the rapid fire? Or
No, this is the slow burn.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Wow.
So what were your learnings from your first film that won a national award, Dhappa? What were your learnings?
Working with new actors, kids, can be a lot of fun.
Can be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Nice. What was your learning from Baap Janma? Besides the fact that you loved me
In
and,
the film,
and
yeah.
all of that, but what was your learning from the process?
I think I could have scaled it up a bit more, which I
Scale
did.
it up
Yeah.
a bit more.
Yeah.
This is now a question that we might have to talk a little longer about.
Mismatched?
Mismatched. What are your learnings from Mismatched? It's also a conversation maybe you and I never really had.
Never.
But yeah. So
Is this the right place to do the
I
conversation?
mean, we can talk
Should
about
we
it.
just
So-
get like 2-3 beers or something and just talk about
We'll do that over beer. But what is your one learning from Mismatch? We won't get into the longer chat here. So
do something only if you truly believe in the script.
right, fair enough. What was your learning from Vasant Rao, which is the last film of yours that is released and is doing splendidly well?
The wait can be worth it as well. Be patient.
The wait can be worth it.
Yeah.
The wait to make the film.
In general, I mean, with Vasant Rao, it's only been a waiting game.
A waiting period.
Yeah, but eventually I think it has paid off.
And now you have just completed making a film, Ishq Vishk Rebound, with which is your first Hindi film. So what are the learnings from that experience? I mean, of course, it's not out yet, so we don't
Yeah.
know about that. But in the process of it, what were your learnings from that?
It's okay to, or rather, you should get out of your comfort zone more often.
This has been stepping out of the comfort zone
Yes.
for you.
Yes.
But having learned the earlier lesson, it's still a story you believe in.
Yes.
So
Yes.
okay. And in terms of upcoming work, I was thinking that one thing that I've kind of noticed, and I watched it, and I thought that Me Vasant Rao was actually a pretty fantastic biopic in that sense.
Thank you.
And I think that handled in an Indian context, handled better than a lot of the work that we have seen. We have seen fantastic biopics abroad, but you don't remember an Indian one that you really love or that manages to do justice to it like you did. And
Thank
I can go on, since it's making you awkward, it's making me really happy. But is that a genre you would do like more? Like,
Yeah.
would you do more biopics?
100%.
You have more biopics lined up, like you.
I am trying to make a musical on another legend
Okay.
of classical music. So let's see how.
But
it
so
goes.
you are open to that, and you would like
Yeah.
to do biopics, and you would like maybe do a biopic about like a Bombay theatre guy at some point of time, and I mean, if there's a
sure, if
script
that guy feels that
if
he's
there's a
important
script that I
enough to
can-
do a
if I can
biopic.
offer you a script and I can behave like you did on Casting Couch and tell you about a biopic that I have to pitch to. Nice. Okay. Well, they wanted to do a Casting Couch joke, and we got
Acha,
one.
a plug-in.
There, we got that.
Okay.
That's out of the way now. Now that we've spoken about a little bit about the film stuff and the theater stuff and all of that, there's a conversation that I've wanted to have, and maybe we've had it over drinks at times, but Pune and Bombay as two different workspaces for you, and also not necessarily your personal experience, but the two things, of course, the theater scenario and the film industries, like a Marathi film industry, and they're two different questions, and the Hindi film industry. What are the comparisons? How do they compare? Like, how are they different? How are they similar? All of those things. Are they similar at all? I know that, in the obvious thing would be that in a film industry situation, of course, the Marathi film industry in terms of budgets is smaller, perhaps.
Yeah.
And the Hindi film industry, being the national kind of film industry, for good or bad, is the one with the more money.
Yeah.
But in terms of like a work ethic,
So I think I mean, I'll speak about films first.
yeah,
I think theatre culture across Pune and Mumbai is the same.
is it? You think?
Yeah, yeah. And
And
I mean,
you're-
there are many things that I've learned from theatre people in Mumbai. In fact, I was asked to direct a play for Ruparel College in 2007 when I was still in college. And it was a big thing back then. And I was just amazed at how punctual, I mean, we are punctual in Pune, but especially in Mumbai, whenever we used to conduct a rehearsal, everybody used to be on time if from wherever they are coming, and they used to, I mean, do that travel in the local train and whatever it took, and they used to be on time. And I think the culture in general is also is pretty similar.
So I think Bombay is more disciplined, basically.
I think it is. Yeah, I
Than-
really
than-
think
than-
it
than
is.
Pune. Okay. And in the Pune theatre scene, and are you comparing Marathi theatre with Marathi theatre? Or you
Yes, I
look-
am.
But what about like you've done non-Marathi theatre as well?
With you.
Yes, I mean over here,
Yeah.
like so in terms of that,
Yeah.
like what is the culturally what are the differences? How does-
Workspace, I think it is a lot more relaxed,
the Marathi theatre scene is not as relaxed.
not so relaxed.
Okay,
I mean, in general, also, I mean, the first play that we worked on,
right.
stand up.
yeah.
So we were supposed to have we had our first show on the 4th of December.
Right,
And you had told me that I'm a part of that play.
Right.
I am doing a character.
right.
And I had kept the entire month of November free
Huh.
because that's when our rehearsal would have been.
Should have, yeah,
Should have been.
yeah.
And
they weren't?
No, I think my first day of rehearsal was 25th of November. Now I think we can say that, even though it was
Yeah.
a commission play. Yeah.
So as in you're saying that basically, so Marathi theatre is more disciplined in Bombay. Otherwise, non-Marathi theatre is not disciplined at all. Is what you're saying?
No, but I mean, I'm not saying it was not. I said
my
relaxed.
my experience.
And I said
okay.
relaxed. Whatever time I spent at rehearsals, I mean, of course.
Hard
and-
work.
Yeah, we were
working really hard
Yeah,
around
we
the
were
clock.
working
yeah,
hard.
so,
Yeah.
So in the Marathi cultural space, and whether it's theatre or it's film, who are the people whose work really inspires you or who you respect, if at all? You can say you don't respect anyone, which is
No.
also believable from you when it comes.
Wow.
But but the thing is that in the Marathi space,
Yeah.
who are the people that whose work inspires you, who you respect, who's
So I really like how Nagaraj Manjure thinks.
Right.
How he operates. I really like that. I have liked what Umesh Kulkarni did with his films.
right. So we are moving into our slow burn section, which is meant to be a rapid fire, but I'm not very fast. So I do want to give you a bit of a disclaimer. So the thing is that the team that is making this podcast has not been as excited about any other guest as much as they have been about you.
I think you're referring to Kapil.
No, I'm
Just
referring
one
to more
person.
than couple. There's also other people who are listening, who are and they're very excited. I'm actually seeing excitement for the first time. Everybody else, okay, but whatever. But like this, there's been a lot of excitement, and I do think that some of it has come from the casting couch, the Bhadipa.
Yes, please explain it to the non-Marathi viewers. Otherwise, they would be
Why-
like, it comes from casting couch.
Why don't you explain it?
No,
This thing
you're
you did with
great
Bhadi. You don't work with Bhadipa anymore, but so there was a, what do you call it? Like a sketch show? What is it?
Yeah, I think it was
it's like a
something similar
talk show,
to the show with Zach Galifianakis. What was that show?
Between Two Ferns. Okay,
Yes.
so it's like a spoofy talk
Yeah,
show
yeah.
called Casting Couch.
Yes, quite like this.
Where you and Amay Wagh would meet people who are not necessarily bigger celebrities than you,
They were.
and hence your ego was hurt, and you would take that out by taking the piss and making fun of them,
Yeah.
and all of that,
Yeah.
but you got immensely popular among a lot of people because
Yeah.
of that. So I
I
just want to say
banked on Amay's popularity. Yeah.
you banged.
I
you
banged.
Okay. When you're saying casting couch, I was just like, I don't know, like, oh my. First question.
Yes.
Your ideal Sunday afternoon is spent with your wife or Amay Wagh?
Arey yaar. Can I say both?
I mean, together.
Both,
So,
yeah.
I mean, we've
Yeah.
taken this conversation into dangerous places, but
And
but this
we'll
is
include Amay's wife, Sajiri, also in this.
okay. And I'm not asking these questions, but clearly there's an impression out there, like, so who?
Both.
I'm
and
not sure
Sagari.
your wife's going to be happy about this answer.
know, I
I'm
know.
not. I'm not certain.
Either
And
way,
you
I
just
think
said you're trying to be a good father and spend more time with your family and all of that. But okay, this backfired fast. All right, there is news out there that
no, there is no news out there. I can assure you, there is no news out there.
there is news out there that a recent film called Monica, Oh My Darling could not have been made without you. The question is, are you a legend? Are you the entire ecosystem of the film industry? What the hell were you doing with Monica, Oh My Darling?
It was very simple. I think one Swapnil Sonavne, who's the DOP of Monaco,
Who
My
you
Darling.
launched?
Shut up, yeah.
You launched him? No?
No, I
Okay,
didn't.
okay,
I
okay.
did. I mean, I launched him in the Marathi film industry, and he never returned to it.
Never returned to it. Okay,
Yes,
okay.
in a way, I did.
Okay.
I'll take that credit.
Right.
So,
So are
but
you a legend? is
he
the question.
was.
First,
he
can you
was,
answer? Are you a legend?
So the answer to that is no.
Okay.
And for Monica, oh my darling, so he called me. He was the DOP of that film, and Vasan was on the call with him. Vasan Bala was the director of that film, and they wanted a Marathi poem, and they gave me a particular situation that they wanted a poem for that, and I'm not actually. I don't know poems, but I think it was just a stroke of luck that the one poem that I knew actually fit the bill perfectly, and I suggested it to them.
But you're the guy they call when they need anything that in Marathi.
I think
so-
that is because they don't know anybody else.
No, I'm just saying that. I'm
That
just
is
saying
because Swapnil didn't
there's
work with
something-
anybody
something-
else in
no,
the
Swapnil's
Marathi
worked
film
with a
industry.
lot of people.
In the Marathi film industry.
I mean, no, he's done a lot of work. I'm just saying that you're being modest now, which is very rare. But okay, so nice.
There's news out there.
No, so you're massive, bro. You're massive. You're just and you're a very deep, intelligent kind of guy also, which
Good,
I've got to know only today. So, okay, what is the best directing advice you have received and from whom?
The first one, I mean, just before my first day as a film director, Umesh came and told me that don't be in, Umesh Kulkarni came and told me that don't be in a hurry to say cut. So
Don't
that
be in a hurry to say cut.
yeah.
Nice.
So that was.
And was there any theatre direction advice at any point of time? I mean, you were forced into it, so I don't know if anyone.
So I did receive this piece of advice that I remember very well.
And you rejected.
But
No,
yeah, I don't think that worked. And
what was it?
but anyway, since we are talking about it, it's like go with a blank mind to the rehearsal, and I did, and it didn't work out well at all.
No, okay. So this is bad advice.
Very bad
Just tell us who said it also.
Huh?
Who
No,
said this
no,
to
I
us? huh?
can't, I can't.
Come on.
No,
can-
no, I
okay.
won't.
Okay. Clearly, since we have established through this about the kind of legend that you are, and we don't need to feed your ego anymore, I'm not going to ask a very, it doesn't have to be something that you directed, but the question is that a Natak company production that you are most proud of. Chances are it'll be yours only, but I don't need to force you that to say that. So, a Natak company production that you are most proud of,
Geli 21 varsha.
which you directed.
No, Alok did.
Oh, that's very giving of you. And why? Why are you so proud of that? It was your first.
Yeah, firstly, it was the first.
Right.
And I think it really it set the tone of Natak company. I think that play.
Right. Nice. I know that you consume a lot of content. And no, in a good way. I mean, you're always giving me spoilers and ruining my life. But an international series that you would run to remake,
Game of Thrones.
you would, huh?
Yeah, I
In
mean, they
Marathi
spoiled
only?
it so bad.
You'll make it Marathi? We'll make Game of Thrones in Marathi or Hindi? What is it called?
सिंहासनाचे खेळ.
Yeah,
खेळ
that's
सिंहासनाचा. Yeah, lovely.
Oh,
Done.
amazing. I'd love to see you get a Marathi midget. So, how do you say? I drink and I know things. How do you say that in Marathi?
मी पितो आणि मला गोष्टी माहिती आहेत.
Okay. A non-Marathi play that you watched and that blew you away.
Oh, so many. Every Brilliant Thing.
Nice.
There was this, this play that I think you had only recommended it. Play that went wrong.
Yes.
In
Yes.
the UK.
Yes, in the
So
UK.
that was amazing. The
Right.
other play about the dog, what was it?
Curious incident of the dog in the night
Yes.
time. Right.
Even that was amazing.
Nice, nice. I've spoken about one of my plays, but no. Okay. After saying so many, he says.
But
one
how will
Indian
I say
play
Kite
and
Runner? I was in the play.
I mean, one Indian play and 2 UK plays, and I mean, I've done 78 productions. Okay.
Anyway, sorry.
Sorry, what?
Nothing.
Okay, and for someone who has not, been too exposed to Marathi content, someone who might be listening or someone like me, who I have seen some though, but people who not might be listening, what is like Marathi content, and it can be stage and screen, and in fact it'll be nice if there's a variety of what content would you recommend as must watch content in Marathi, as in maybe entry to that as well.
Right.
And you can't promote your own work here.
Yeah, no.
Because I've done that enough for an hour and a half now. So yeah.
So on the commercial stage, there are two plays that are happening. One is Char Chaughi.
Yes.
It's-
But that's an old play revived, is
Yeah,
it?
so it's a play which was written in 91, and it's funny that it's still relevant right now, and it is amazing that how feminist in its
It was then.
it was then,
Right.
and
So that you're saying is a play people
yeah,
can watch. Okay.
and secondly is it's Sangeet Devbabri. So that I think they are winding up the production. So if you find the time, people should
That's
go
a
and
Sangeet
watch
Natak.
it. That is a Sangeet Natak.
And on the
Experimental stage, I think right now Parna is doing an adaptation of a German play called Love You.
Love You, yes.
So that for Parna's and Shivraj's performances, I think
And film.
Godavari, I think.
It doesn't have to be recent. It can be a film from ever.
Oh,
Yeah, like it's available now. I mean, people can go and watch
so many films.
like a must watch. Like your favorite Marathi film. That
I really like Fandry by Nagaraj.
right.
I like Vihir Dev by Umesh Kulkarni. There are these old Marathi classics by Jabbar Patel that people should watch. Like there's a Simhasan by V. Shantaram. There's Pinjara.
Okay, so thank you so much, Nipun,
Thank you,
for making the time.
Thank you for making me uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, it's my Janam Siddh Adhikar. But yeah, thanks for being here, man. And
Dinner?
yeah, let's get a drink, I think.
Hi, I'm Nipun Dharmadhikari, and I had a great time on the Aadyam Podcast, Unscripted with Akarsh Khurrana. And you can listen to it on BingePod, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you hear your podcasts on. Don't forget to follow Aadyam on Instagram and YouTube for more updates about this podcast.